I noticed on your Twitter, you had a rundown of all the players the Dolphins have had thanks to Laremy Tunsil and that awful trade that the Texans make. And I didn't notice that you guys had been flipping those two first. The Dolphins had, and the second pick as well. So for the Texans fans who haven't kept up, this is what I've got. The Dolphins flipped those picks into Jalen Waddle, the first rounder used in the Tyreek Hill trade, which was the key component, I guess, of that trade. The Dolphins starting safety, Javon Holland, and Bradley Chubb. Did I get all of that right?
Yeah, I mean, there's some other players in there that, again, kind of like the Adam Gase era that we'd rather forget about. One of those being Noah Igbenogany, who was drafted in the first round, same year as Tua Tagovailoa and Austin Jackson, actually, 2020. So when you look at that, that's a very polarizing tweet that I put out there. I get a lot of people saying, well, you're not taking into account the other parts of the trade that were sent out from the Miami Dolphins. And if you look at that, that is the net gain for both of the primary teams. So the Houston Texans and the Miami Dolphins for that Laremy Tunsil for draft picks trade. So yes, of course, there's going to be other pieces that were moved out and other pieces that were moved in, but this is the net gain. And this trade is almost complete. I think we have one more like fifth rounder this year that once we make that pick or trade it away or whatever the case may be, we can close the book on the net gain of this Laremy Tunsil to Houston trade, which, by the way, as somebody else pointed out, the Miami Dolphins got all of those players to help them rebuild as to where they are now. But, they have the same amount of playoff wins as Houston does ever since the Laremy Tunsil trade happened. So who really won? I don't know. Laremy Tunsil is one of the best tackles in football. We still want to erect a statue to him in Miami because we do think that long-term, those draft picks that we got are going to pay off handsomely for the Miami Dolphins. But yeah, it's bizarre and wild to see the net returns for the Miami Dolphins based off one player.
You're listening to Houston Sports Talk.